Hello boys and girls, here we have lesson 12-5 on page 412 of your math journal. We are going to continue working with ratios. A ratio is a number out of a number, as we've explained before. For example, 1 out of 3 students, or we could also say 5 out of 7 people like apples. These are all ratios. So for every 7 people, 5 will like apples. This could also be turned into an equivalent fraction. For example, 5 over 7, okay, which means for every 7, 5, okay, 5 over 7 could also be, let's say, 14. For every 14, it'll be 10 people. Or for every, let's say, 21, okay, it will be 15. And it's increasing by the same amount, meaning that here we have 1 7, but here we have 2 7s. So here we have 1 5, and here we have 2 5s. Here we have 3 7s, here we have 3 5s. So it's going up at the same rate. We call these equivalent fractions. And that's what we're trying to figure out. In this example, for example, we have the number 29, okay, over another number. Well, what do we have to do to that 9 to make it 36? As we count by 9s, 9, 18, 27, 36. Okay, we have to have 4 9s here. We must do the same with the 2. We must have 4 2s here. So 9 times 4 is 36. And then we do the same thing to the top. 2 times 4 is 8. And that's how you get your equivalent fractions. Okay? Let's try that with the word problems from 1 to 3. For questions 1 to 3, we have to identify the numbers and how we're going to put them into a fraction. Okay, let's read number 1, and you can do 2 and 3 on your own, which we'll check later. For example, here we have 42 animals in the children's zoo. In the children's zoo, 42 animals. It sounds like that's the total number of animals, okay? 3 out of 7, that looks like a fraction. 3 over 7 are mammals. How many mammals are in the children's zoo? So we want to know what 3 is. So let's see. We have 3 out of 7 are mammals, okay? And that the total number of mammals is 42. That's as high as it's going to go. So we're looking for this value. That value we can, I guess, we can give it the variable m for mammals, okay? Right here, mammals. So let's solve this. When we look at this fraction, okay, 3 over 7 equals m over 42, we understand that we have to do something to this 7. We have to multiply this 7 to get 42. Or if we go backwards, we can also do 42 divided by 7. Whatever answer we get here, whatever we have to multiply the number to, or whatever we get when we divide it, going the other way, it's the number we have to multiply the 3 into so we can get this. Because in this direction, we multiply. Whenever we go in that direction, we are multiplying. From small to a larger number, we have to multiply it. Okay? And we can identify now that we have to multiply it by 6. If we go in the other direction, we have to divide. For example, 42 divided by a number, okay, 6, okay, 42 divided by 7, 42 divided by 7 will be 6, okay, and then if we multiply that times 3, we will get what we're looking for, okay, the 3 7. So you could make a number model that looks like this: 42 divided by 7 times 3 equals m. So this is an example of a number model you could use. Another number model you could use are the ones that we did in class, where you simply do 2 different parentheses. Regardless, you need to have your therefore statement. Therefore, 18 are mammals. Okay, go ahead and try number 2 and number 3, and we'll check them in class. You can choose any number model you'd like as long as you have one on there. Okay, next page. On the next page, we continue with ratios. Okay, right here we simply, from 5 to 9, we simply have to solve for the missing variable. Okay, what did you do to the 3 to make it 21? Here, let's zoom that in. Okay? What did you do to the 3 to make it 21? Do the same to the 4, and you can solve that. What did you do to the 1 to make it 13? Do the same to the 5. Okay? And that'll be 1 and 5, and you can write it there. For the first part, though, we actually have to make up our own ratio. It might help to look at these as an example first if you want to complete those. But what you can do is you can write something, for example, like every time Jimmy eats 1 slice of pizza, his friend Andrew eats 2. So when Andrew eats 8, Jimmy eats 4. You can write something like that, and you can have a number model and an answer. Your partner will solve it in class. So make a really good one here, really good one. And on Monday, you can switch with someone next to you, and we will solve it. Sorry, not on Monday, but on the next day, we look at this. Okay, continuing with question 11. There are 48 students in 5th grade at Robert School. 48 sounds like the total number. That's going to be a denominator. 3 out of 8 5th graders, so for every 3 over 8, 5th graders read 2 books last month. 1 out of 3 read just 1 book. The rest of the students read no books at all. Okay? Now it looks like we have a couple of different fractions to use, different ratios. We have 1 out of 3 here, okay? Which we have to figure out what 1 out of 3 out of 48 is. So it's going to look something like this. Okay, let's see if I can move this. Make it smaller. Okay. You will have 1 out of 3 equals out of 48. Okay. If you do this ratio, it'll tell you how many students read 1 book. Okay. And if you do 3 out of 8, this is a whole different one, okay? 3 out of 8 students read 2 books last month out of 48. And again, you're looking for this answer. That'll tell you how many read 2 books right here. That answer will tell you how many read 2 books, how many read 1 book. So solve for that, okay? How many books how many books in all did the 5th graders read last month? Okay, how many books in all did they read? Well, you'll have to solve. How many read 1 and how many read 2? And then add the books. Explain how you solved the answer. Okay, let's analyze this answer so that you understand it exactly how I've written it. Please make sure that you write this down exactly as this is your key answer. Okay, this is your key answer. So let's see. First, we are given that 3/8, okay, 3/8 of the students, where are this? Right here. 3 out of 8, okay, 3/8 of the students read 2 books each last month. So 3/8 out of 48 students, so something out of 48. 3/8 equals something over 48. Well, what do I have to do to the 8 to make it 48? I must multiply it by 6. So I must do the same to the 3, the top number. Multiply it by 6 and you'll get 18 out of 48. So 18 students read 2 books each. 2 books each. 18 students. That means that is 36 books in all. So far, we understand that 3/8 out of 48 is 18, but they each read 2, so that's 36. And then there's another ratio. It says 1 out of 3 students. 1 out of 3 students in the classroom out of 48. So what do I do to the 3 to make it 48? I must multiply it by 16. 3 times 16 is 48. Do the same to the 1. 1 times 16 is 16 over 48. So 16 students read 1 book each. The total number of books read was 36. You must take your first 36 plus 16 equals 52. Therefore, there were 52 books read in the class. And for the next page, boys and girls, we're going to continue with ratios and fractions. Here we go. 5 pizzas will each be sliced into fourths, 4 parts each. Use the circles to show how the pizzas will be cut. Find how many slices there will be in all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they want to be cut in fourths. There we go. I did my best to cut them into 4 each. Each one is cut into 4 pieces. Well, let's see. If I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they each have 4 slices, okay? This one has 4, plus 4, plus 4, plus 4, plus 4. I must take all 5 and multiply it by 4, because each has 4. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. 5 times 4 is 20. The pizzas will be cut into how many slices? 20. Okay, let's see how that works with a fraction over here. 5 divided into quarters. You see that? 5 divided into quarters. Remember how we learned earlier in the year to divide fractions? We must take the fraction, the first whole number, and put it over 1. Then we take the symbol and we replace it with multiplication, and we invert the second fraction, 4 over 1. Okay, we flip it, and then just multiply it directly through. 5 times 4 is 20. We do not have to write over 1, okay, because 20 divided by 1 is still going to be 20. And there you go. Go ahead and try number 2. It's very similar, okay, and you have been given an image on the side to use. Okay, it's very similar. Go ahead and solve it. Continuing on. Each division number sentence on the left can be solved by using a related multiplication number sentence on the right. Write the letter for the multiplication sentence next to the one that is related. Okay, so which one of these is these? Which one of them are the same? Well, let's take a look. In class, we've talked about isolating the variable. When we look here, these variables need to be isolated, so we must invert the operation by bringing the 10 to the other side, bringing the 8 to the other side, bringing the 1/10 to the other side, and the 1/3 to the other side. When we invert the operation, we're going to do the opposite that we do on this side, on this side. What's the opposite of multiplication? If you said division, you are correct. So it would look more like n equals 1/8 divided by 10. Okay, do we have that on this side? We certainly do. 1/8 divided by 10 equals n. There we go. So please go ahead and match it. That's something you can do on your own. And solve the following. Okay, boys and girls, you do not have to do math boxes. I will see you in class. If you like interesting facts, check these out. I think the grossest one is this one. Most of the dust in your home is actually dead skin. Yuck. Butterflies taste with their feet. Rabbits and parrots can see behind them without turning their heads. A hippopotamus may seem huge, but it can still run faster than a person. Wow. Sneezing with your eyes open is impossible. I'd like to see that. All right, boys and girls, you have a great weekend.